All right, let's see if we can get anything useful here. So I'm recording with my GoPro here. Hopefully I can get the angle right. I'm going to be working on Umbra, my latest sculpture. He is this lovely twisty guy. I guess I'm going to just work on his face a little bit. I tend to redo things a lot of times, so this may or may not end up being the final work, but you can see I've very, very roughly kind of given him an eye location. That's about it. So let's see where we go. Just kind of smoothing a little bit so I can see what I'm doing. These are color shapers. I don't know if you can read it on there. This is the medium hardness, the gray. The firm is black, and the softest kind is white, although it looks kind of pink because it's got all sorts of epoxy on it right now. I need to clean these up. I'm working in Super Sculpey Firm here. It's a very nice material. It won't harden until you bake it, and you just bake it in a home oven. You don't have to have any special equipment, which is really nice. His hooves are epoxy sculpt, and he has a steel armature, which I built out of hardened steel. It's actually piano wire, so it's very, very rigid, which is nice because the Sculpey is not really very strong. It's self-supporting, like for small bits like ears, but he's solid. So he's pretty heavy. He's, I think, about a pound or a pound and a half of Sculpey, which doesn't sound like very much, but for those little bitty thin legs, it is quite a bit of weight. So right now I'm just trying to get the overall shape down. Really, I should pull up some reference photos, which I had up before, but now they have gone. This is my overall proportions reference. I don't know if you can see that. I've actually scaled it so that it's the same size as he is. In order to do that, you need to have a photo that's very square on from the sides, so there's as little distortion as possible. I prefer to use photos that I took because then I know if it's likely to be distorted or not. I did not take this one. So I'm being kind of careful because you will end up with distortions if you work directly from a photo. And then I have a variety of reference photos that I've found online. None of these are exactly the pose I'm going for, but they all have useful information in them. So I have a whole folder of various photos that I thought would be useful, especially going for, some of them are of Arabians, some of them are not. If it's a pose reference, then I try to make sure that the breed is as similar as possible, but it doesn't have to be exactly the same. Once it comes to like head references and stuff, I'll try and find horses that are similar in type to what I'm looking to go for, which in this case I want refined but not excessive, basically. So maybe a desert type that's very, just a good looking horse, I guess. I don't want it to be too extreme, so a moderate but clearly Arabian type. One of the nice things about working with the Sculpey instead of working with epoxy is that I can move around from area to area instead of having to focus on one spot. So I can work on the eye for a couple of minutes and then I can move to something else. It's nice. It's convenient. happens a lot if I drop it on the floor. Got dogs here and me, that was one of mine. Alright, and I can hear that there's a dog downstairs who needs me. Alright. We have a lot of interruptions like that around here. Hopefully I've got this aligned so you can see it. It doesn't have a screen, so it's kind of hard to tell what it's pointing at. Not happy with the angle here. So I just realized that the eye looked like it was a little bit far down on his face, comparing it to my reference photo there. Of course, his face is so rough that it's kind of hard to tell what's going on. But I think I'm going to need to adjust it upwards a little bit. We'll see. But that's one of the advantages of the Sculpey. You can easily push it around, and it's very easy to cut into it if you need to as well to reposition things. You can just cut it with an X-Acto knife instead of having to saw away at it like epoxy sculpt or any of the other hard epoxies. Or even plastic if you were working with a briar or whatever. Adjust my lights here. Delphine, hush. He's not going to steal it from you. Rocky. Delphine, hush. Rocky, go get it. Delphine, you're fine. He's not going to steal your toy. Go on. All right, Delphine, come on. You chew on that. Got some cracking here where I attached his head and neck, so I'm just gonna smooth that in a little bit. Getting the eyes even is really hard for me. It's always a challenge, and I'm sure I'll have to end up having to redo at least one of them. At least once after I think it was finished. It always happens. It helps to hold it up to a mirror once you're a little bit, I guess anytime it would help to hold it up to a mirror. But I usually do it when I'm a little bit further along because it's hard to tell when they're so rough, even exactly where they are, honestly. There's just not much to them right now. I want to make sure that the angle stays good. Right now his eye is angled a little bit too far upwards. Looks like he's looking straight at the sky when he should be looking sort of downwards. See what's coming at him, what's spooking him here. And that jaw is uneven too. Everything's uneven right now. I mean, I just started him. There will be many, many iterations of working and reworking here. Alright, well, doesn't look like much right now, but I'm going to take a little break and see how my video is turning out.